Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Ride 4. Challenge 49 of the weekly challenge is upon us here today, and it's time to use the BMW S100 RR EM in Magny Cours. So first things first guys, yes it is going to be at night here in Magny Cours, so if you need to improve the brightness or the gamma, do so on your computer or console, whatever you're using, just to try and give you a little bit more visibility, but don't be alarmed of course, because it is nighttime. Yes, it is going to be a little bit more difficult to see, but it's still the same track, so the guides I'm going to give you is still going to be applicable whether you're using it in the day, the afternoon, or even in the dry. So going onto the right hand side now, just on the approach here for the Magny Cours bridge, you want to make sure you're braking just before that bridge. I can brake a little bit later than that sometimes, but I would advise brake before that bridge. Use that as a guide and you'll always be able to make Adelaide without too much issue, especially with the BMW S100. So now braking just after the bridge here and then going before the 100 meter zone. You can brake into the corner for turn 7, and now for the flick for turn 8, and then now onto the brakes for the left-hander for turn 9. So I would suggest on the outside of the track there, the rumble strip is coming to a close just before the entry of turn 9. Begin to brake there. The best way to feel as well is if you're on semi-automatic gears, that is, as you're about to move up to the next gear, brake just before you shift up. It feels like you can just get it close to the rev limiter to then bring it on the brakes. But we're now going to Chateau d'Eux, braking at the rumble strips on the left-hand side, keeping it nice and tight to the apex, and slowly bringing on the acceleration. So get into the middle of the circuit here, or to the right, and then to swing it in, up into the left-hand side. Keep an eye on the braking markers. After that 200 meter marker, you would probably go mid-corner. As the bike sort of stabilizes into a more natural position, more seated, you can start braking at that point. So we're going to do a couple more runs on board the BMW, so we're just going to chuck it into the left-hand side now, keeping it in nice and tight. You can run it a little bit deep. Sometimes you can go onto the rumble strip and sometimes even on the green part of the rumble strip, so just be very careful if you do stray a little bit too far to the right. But now into Estoril, just be gentle on the acceleration. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen how much acceleration is being applied. It's not a massive amount. So we'll now get onto the right-hand side, bringing on the acceleration towards the bridge, and as mentioned before, brake just before the bridge. A lot of front brake you can see in the bottom right corner of your screen, and even a bit of rear brake as well. So going onto the right hand side, be careful on the acceleration here. I'm not running any anti-wheelie or any TCS, so I have to be very, very gentle on the acceleration just in case the bike wants to lift up. And now getting into the left hand side for the Nürburgring, for the right hand side, and then flick it to the left hand side for the turn 8. Braking in for turn 9 now for the 180 degrees corner, keep it in nice and tight, keep it on the rumble strip, and then just as the bike begins to straighten up, move it over to the right hand side for turn 10. You might have to move there a little bit earlier than you might think. Now braking here just before the 100 meter marker, go roughly around 150 meters if you can gauge it from that braking marker. Keep an eye out to your braking zone here on the left hand side. That bigger, thicker rumble strip is a good indication of where to brake. Just go a little bit before that and you'll be absolutely fine. So upon the exit of Chateau d'Eux, careful on the acceleration, get underneath the bridge and now move it to the left hand side. Begin to start thinking about braking at roughly around the 200 meter marker. Keep it in nice and tight for the complex du Lai Chi, and now prepare yourself for the chicane to go onto the rumble strip for the right-hander and then the rumble strip for the left-hander. What I would suggest is if you do keep making a mistake there, attempt it once, rewind it, and then continue to make it until you get it right. It's probably the best way to do it. Of course, then you don't have to keep on doing the full lap. But just bear in mind that when you get to the next time, you cannot use your rewind because, of course, it will invalidate the lap. But just focus on getting that part right, and you should be absolutely fine. There's a few points in this track that will catch you out. Adelaide's braking zone, as long as you brake here before the Circuit Magny Cours bridge, you should be absolutely fine. You may have difficulties going into the Nürburgring corner, which is coming up ever so shortly. Just bringing on the acceleration here. Prepare yourself for trying to avoid the wheelie, of course, now into the left-hand side ever so slightly for that kink. Braking just before the 100 meter zone is usually the best spot for me. Keep it in the left-hand side now for turn 8. Turn 9, you can hear the bike getting ready to rev up. Just drop it down and move into the left-hander for the 180 degrees. And now this particular part coming up now could catch you off guard if you're not careful. So just be very, very careful. Keep it on the left-hand side. After the bridge, before the sign, begin to start braking. It's a pretty clear braking marker, that one, but it can be a little bit dangerous because the bike tends to get stuck when on a particular angle going into that corner. So now on the right hand side for Chateau d'Eux once more, we're going to be powering down towards the left-hander here. So keep it on moving, keep it on nice and tight, going underneath the 200 meter marker there and braking with all of your might onto the right hand side for the complex du Lai Chi. Keep an eye out for the right hander here for the rumble strip. Go for the next rumble strip as well for turn 17 and you've got the job done. It can be difficult, as mentioned earlier, but just keep on practicing, you should get it just fine. The Grand Cours is a difficult corner, so I would advise braking a little bit earlier and just getting a feel for it, but with it being the very first corner, and considering when you restart the lap it's the first corner you see, so almost the first corner you see at least, you'll be able to spend a lot of time with that one practicing it, so it's probably not the difficult of corners to get right, so I'm hoping you'll be absolutely fine on that one as we now brake a little bit later for the right hand here for Adelaide, and as you can see, just braking a little bit later just wasn't quite as clean. We lost a little bit of time. We are going to be smooth on acceleration, but we did lose some time. But of course, this is not about my lap times in this particular journey. This is all about trying to get you guys up to a similar level to myself, or if not better, by giving you some guidance and some pointers for these weekly challenges. This is our 49th weekly challenge, of matter of fact, so we've done quite a lot together. So I'm hoping we can continue this for however many moons Ride 4 is going to continue on for weekly challenges, but braking onto the braking marker just before the 100 metre marker for Imola, flick it to the left hand side. You can cut that corner ever so slightly, but try to avoid it. Just go over the white part of that rumble strip if you can, the sort of unpainted area. That's as tight as I would leave it. I wouldn't go any tighter than that because you will touch the green and probably end up invalidating the lap, and we don't want that. So on the right hand side, complex to Lychee, and ran it a little bit deeper this time. It's not a problem, but I did lose a little bit of time, so now I took it to the left hand side and to the right. You've got the rhythm going, and then we have improved once more. So I'm going to go for it on this last lap. I'm going to just absolutely thrash it. I have been taking it rather steady so far, so let's see what we can produce when we're going for full gung-ho. But of course you can still pick up how I'm going to be riding, how I'm going to be manipulating the bike, how I'm going to be using the throttle, and how much brakes is being applied. Now I did run it a little bit deep there going into Estoril, just touching the green. Just don't worry about that if you happen to do it. As long as the game doesn't tell you off, you're absolutely fine, your lap's still valid. So braking now very, very firm going into Adelaide. We made a little bit of a hash of that one, but I'm going to be quite smooth on the acceleration here, trying to keep the front end down. The BMW does a decent job of stopping the wheelie, but we actually gained a little bit of time. So if we just pieced them together quite nicely, we would have improved on that particular section, but nonetheless we are now going to chuck it into the left hand side. I will mention that I have been using medium tyres for all of this duration. However, this final lap I did change to the soft front and remain with the medium rear, so that could be something worth noting if you want to try and go for some faster lap times. But as you can see already, the front tyre has had a little bit of wear already and it's gone a little bit colourful, so yeah, bear that in mind. If you really want to go for the soft option, it is going to get a little bit more difficult to use after a couple of laps or so. So now onto the left hand side, big wheelie there, try to avoid that, but if you're running anti-wheelie I guess you won't be having that issue, as we now brake into the right hand side for complex to Lychee, cutting the corner ever so slightly, but it's on the rumble strip so it's just alright. Now chuck it to the left hand side for the chicane, and across the line we will go with a 1:32.973. So the end of that one, those are my 5 lap times on screen right now. If you want to compare your lap times you can do so now. First sector was the only place we didn't improve upon towards the end of the lap there, so that's where we went wide into Adelaide. Makes sense that we lost a little bit of time. So now looking at the leaderboards, we are in the lead, currently as it stands at least, with DrAce being at the top with a 1:32.973. I imagine that is bound to change when the riders who watch this video then take it to the tracks themselves and decide to beat me without too much issue. But upon that note guys, that is going to be it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know in the comments section down below. Hit the like button and consider subscribing as well if you want to see more DrAce Ride 4 content and many, many more stuff. So upon that note guys, thanks for watching and ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.